everyone, and welcome to Pepito Live. And today, amigos, we have a very special show. As you know, one of our favorite topics on the show, especially in the English shows, are issues related to immigration in Costa Rica. And once or twice a year, we like to focus and sort of like have an update on what are the issues and is it becoming easier or more complicated to get a residency here in Costa Rica. And when we do those shows, well, of course, we invite to the show one of our favorite guests, and which is none other than our favorite immigration attorney is Marcela Gurdian. Marcela, welcome to the show. Marcela.
Thank you, Pepito. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to help people and to explain the situation, the real situation about immigration.
That's right. So, Marcela, today, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be covering what is happening right now in Costa Rica, and when we do these shows, if there's anybody watching for the first time, we really try to lay it out as it is.
Mm-hmm. That's the way it should be, Pepito.
That's the way it should be. Marcela, if there's some people who are newcomers to the show, could you briefly present yourself? Give us a little bit of an update or an inquiry or presentation. Who exactly is Marcela Gurdian?
Okay, my name is Marcela Gurdian. I have been an immigration lawyer for the past 35 years. I was born in Costa Rica. My parents are foreigners in Costa Rica who became Costa Rican. I have been doing immigration for my whole life. I used to work for immigration because I wanted to know the process inside immigration. I was part of the commission that created the immigration law. I was working at the Costa Rican consulate in Miami for 3 to 4 months, training Costa Rican consulates in immigration. So I really like what I do, Pepito. I love immigration. I love foreigners to establish in Costa Rica because when they become residents, they are so happy. And that's something that I like a lot.
Absolutely. So, Marcela, thank you again for participating in the show. And we want to remind people, if they are watching the show, if they have any questions, they have any comments, please do so via the chat section in either our Pepito Live channel on YouTube or any Facebook page where you may actually be watching the show. So, Marcela, before we get into the theme of the day, which is, residency 23-24, easy or not so easy, we have a special guest, and today we're going to be actually talking about introducing the show with a real situation. And we have somebody who reached out to us who has an issue regarding her residency process. And so, Marcela, if you would accept to maybe listen to what this person has to say, look over quickly what her file is, and maybe give her some comments and recommendation. Would you happily do that?
Yes, I will be happy to help.
Okay, so welcome to the show. We have with us Joanne, and here she is. Joanne is with us here. Joanne Lane, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Hello,
Good.
Joanne.
Hi, how are you? Thank
Great.
you for thank you for speaking with me.
My pleasure.
So,
So what is
Marcela, I will let you ask the questions.
So what is your situation, Joanne? When did you apply for residency and what type of residency?
Okay. In October of 2019, my partner and I purchased a boutique hotel, restaurant, bar, and gift shop. And at the time, the purchase price was just a bit short of what we needed for the two of us to have residency.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, we were informed prior to applying for residency, it would be a good idea for the two of us to marry.
Mm-hmm.
We married December 31st of 2019. And in January of 2020, we applied for residency under the inversionista
Okay.
status.
Okay, 2020. And then you know that immigration was almost closed for 2020. So did you get any type of resolution or communication from immigration?
There was absolutely nothing communicated throughout 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We were told it was due to COVID. And throughout most of 2021, again, absolutely no communication, although we were going through a lawyer for this process.
Mm-hmm.
It was August of 2021 when we were finally called to go for our fingerprints.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Following that, it was again radio silence. No updates, nothing until August of this year.
Mm-hmm. And what happened, Joan? Did you get the resolution?
Yes, and we were denied.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the reason of the denial?
The reason we were given was due to taxes not being completely paid. And yet we went on to the Ministerio de Hacienda immediately. All taxes were paid in full. It appeared as though nothing was missing from the equation. And we still to this day do not have a clear answer on why we were denied.
Mm-hmm.
What we were told at the time was that we would be entering into, through our lawyer, an appeal process.
Mm-hmm.
So it has now been almost 4 months, and we have heard absolutely nothing about the appeal, even though we repeatedly ask what's happening.
Okay, Joan. It would be very unprofessional from my side to give you a 100% answer about your situation. But if you were denied because taxes were not up to date, I don't know why you didn't get a warning before, because normally immigration will give you a warning. Okay, you have to pay taxes and we give you 10 days to pay the taxes. They won't deny it immediately. That's not the way immigration works. But now, if you got denied and the lawyer appealed, and it has been already 4 months without an answer, that's normal, Joanne, because immigration is collapsing. They don't give you an answer soon. So minimum time, waiting time will be at least 1 year to get an answer from immigration for the appeal. If you happen to have the resolution from immigration, I would like to see it, because I need to know if it's only taxes, because if you were denied only because of taxes, what you could do is to submit another appeal. It's called amparo. And then if the file is complete, you will be given an approval in a short time. Otherwise, you will be waiting minimum 1 year to get the answer from immigration, Joanne.
Thank you.
So send me the resolution. Pepito has my email address, but talk to your lawyer and tell them to submit an amparo. And then an amparo you can do only when the file is complete, 100% complete. In your case, if you were denied only because of taxes and you are up to date with taxes, immigration will grant the approval soon.
Okay. Thank
Hopefully.
you. Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yes, yes. I mean, the file, I mean, if the file has taken a long time, is because of the situation with immigration. I have clients who got the approval. They started the process in 2023, Joanne, and they got the approval. And I have clients who has been waiting for the approval since 2021. So
Yes.
it's because immigration is collapsing, really. It's not because you will, I mean, because they don't want you in the country. It's because Costa Rica was not expecting the avalanche of people moving here. So that's the reason.
Yes, I understand. It makes it very difficult as a business owner, as a small
Yes,
business
I
owner.
imagine. And you have to go out every 3 months to renew the driver license, and at the banks. Yes, I know. It's difficult.
Yes.
But if you do an amparo, Joanne, you will get an answer soon. So that's the way I will go.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us, Joanne, and good luck. And keep us posted how it goes, please.
I shall,
Exactly.
Pepito.
Thank
Send me
you.
the resolution.
I will. I will. Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll do that. Well, thank you for commenting on that, Marcela. So that is a very typical situation also of somebody who gets sort of like caught up in the process, and people sometimes don't know where to go, and there's not really a lot of answers coming out of the immigration department, right?
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Not even as immigration lawyers, we cannot get answers from them. So imagine for someone who is doing the residency by themselves, it's
Yeah,
going to be difficult. They will
yeah.
have to learn patience.
And we have somebody else here making a comment, Marcela. We have Rod Marshall saying, "Good evening, and thank you for this information, chat, Marcela. Would you kindly describe what happens in the residency process with Costa Rica immigration after the hearing date has been completed?"
Rod, as I told you before, it's difficult to get answers from immigration. This is why I'm taking extra steps to get answers, because for the first time in 30 years of practice, I am denouncing immigration because they don't respond. And I mean, you as a foreigner investing in Costa Rica, you don't want to wait for a long time for the residency. But immigration is collapsing. They have thousands of files and they have less than 15 people to check on over 7,000 files. They are not really organized. They can have a goodwill to help, but it is impossible. They need the government to help them so that they can have more employees. Otherwise, the situation seems complicated, Pepito.
Absolutely. And we have Rod here who made another comment. Maybe you want to, we were supposed to talk about this later out, later during the show, but now I'm going to ask you to comment on this here right now, get to that point. You have
Yes, Rod.
180 days now on a tourist visa, by the way. Do you want to comment on that issue?
Yes, Rod. It is good that the government is granting 180 days visa, and there is a project at the Congress so that the 180 days visa will be equal to 180 days a possibility to drive in Costa Rica. Right now, even if you have the 180 days visa, the driver license or the permit to drive is only valid for 90 days. And this is important that you keep your visa updated for 90 days, because if you have an accident and your 90 days visa is over, the insurance company won't pay. That's really important. We hope that the project at the Congress will be voted soon, but again, it's Costa Rican time. So I cannot guarantee when the project is going to be approved. But for now, 108 days visa and only 90 days permit to drive.
So, Marcela, there's a lot of people in the community and social media that are saying that this thing here about having the right to drive for 180 days, that's purely a myth or false information, you're saying?
Yes, I mean there has been a lot of misinformation in Facebook, Instagram, that the 180 days visa is also valid to drive, and it's not true. That driver license is only valid for 90 days because we have to adjust another law so that they will give you 180 days permit to drive in Costa Rica and also the 180 days tourist visa.
And
And
also, the last point here, it depends on the immigration officer.
exactly. So many people think that they will have the 180 days visa for sure, and it depends on the immigration officer at the airport, at the Nicaraguan border. They can give you 10 days, 20 days, up to 180 days. So if they see that you have been coming very often to Costa Rica and they consider you as a perpetual tourist, they may give you 20 days. And it has happened and it is happening a lot. So, because many people living in Costa Rica now, they think, okay, I won't do the residency because I will have 180 days visa. But it's not for sure that they will get the 180 days visa. every
Perfect.
time they come to Costa Rica.
And another comment from Rod Marshall. I understand this has changed, including driving, as long as you have the papers showing that you are in process.
Okay, Rod, even if you are processing residency, you still need to renew your tourist visa every 90 days to be able to drive. If you are applying for residency, even if your 180 days visa is expired, you are allowed to stay in Costa Rica. You can stay in Costa Rica as long as you want, but if you're driving, you need to renew the visa every 90 days. That's really important to understand.
Perfect. Last question. Is there a proper official website outlining all of these changes?
There is the law that was changed, changing the tourist visa to 180 days. And there is the project at the Congress that they want to update the 90 days permit to drive to 180 days. But there is no official website outlining all of these changes.
Perfect. Okay, excellent, Marcela. So now we're going to go back to the subject of the day. You wanted to mention and open and remind people, Marcela, that there are actually 3 ways to get residency in Costa Rica. We're going to cover them briefly, and then we're going to talk about some of the nitty-gritty, some of the things we don't like to talk about, but what are some of the real sort of like negative impacts or issues that are out there with the Ministry of or the Immigration Department of Costa Rica. So 3 ways, Marcela, to apply for residency.
Exactly, Pepito. You can apply for residency at the Costa Rican consulate located in your country of origin, and they will get the application and they will send the application to Immigration Costa Rica, because it's only Immigration Costa Rica who will approve or deny the residency. Second, you can apply for the residency through online. It's a new system called Trámite Ya, but it's only for a specific type of residency, for retirees, someone who qualifies for renters, digital nomads, people with Costa Rican wife or Costa Rican children, and that's it. And some other categories like a student permit. But investors, they cannot apply online because they have to go through the traditional system. Trámite Ya is a good system. It's working. At the beginning, you could get the approvals in 3 months, but not anymore. So if you use Trámite Ya, the approval will be in 6 months. And by the way, the system was not working for 2 weeks. Just today, they rehabilitate the system, and now the system is working again. So we pray, we hope
We
that
pray.
the system will. I don't want to mention the word system, because you know what happens, Pepito. So I hope that the system will be working without any issues from now on. Imagine that I have clients that came to Costa Rica to apply online, and they left last week because they couldn't apply online, and they had their flight tickets to go back to Italy, to go back to US, to go back to Canada, and they couldn't apply online. So now I have to go through the traditional system, because one of the requirements is that the foreigner, must be in Costa Rica to start the process. So they left not very happy, but how can I control the system? So they left Costa Rica, and now I have to do the traditional system because they don't want to come again to Costa Rica. And the traditional system will take between 1 year and 1.5 years. Imagine. So I had very unhappy clients last week because they couldn't use online system. But I mean, something that we cannot control. So then
Absolutely.
if you do the traditional way, is when you go personally to immigration and you submit the application. That's the traditional way. So that's the way we apply for investors. But processing time now is 1 year, 1.5 years, and more. could be more, Pepito. Unfortunately, that's what is happening at immigration. Me, as a lawyer, as an immigration lawyer, I'm not happy at all. But I mean, if immigration is a chaos, is collapsing. They want to help, but they cannot help because it's impossible. I mean, they have a lot of work.
Perfect. We have another question here, Marcela. We're going to get back to some of those issues after. Somebody asked a question. What is the process to become a permanent resident once you have renewed your temporary residency?
Okay, you need to be a temporary residency for 3 years. Once you have 3 years of temporary residency, you can apply for permanent residency. You can do the process online. That's another process that you can do online. You need to pay $200 to immigration. You need to sign, you can do the process by yourself. Otherwise, if you hire a lawyer, you need to sign power of attorney, passport photocopy, passport pictures, photocopy of your birth certificate, and that's it. And the processing time may be also 6 months because it's through Trámite Ya, which is more simple, but it's taking at least 5 to 6 months to get the answer.
Perfect. So Marcela, let's get back to some of those issues related to immigration and the administration of the system, if we could say. We have here first Sorotulu. If immigration makes a mistake, the foreigner must write a letter explaining what the mistake is. I can't believe this. And the average time to receive a response for immigration is 8 months. Marcela, I can't believe this comment. Hang on.
Me neither.
Let me try to repeat that. Are you trying to tell us that if immigration makes a mistake in my file, I have to politely write to them, okay, sorry, but you made a mistake in my file. Please correct my file or correct the mistakes. And because
horrible mistake, and I explained my clients, and they couldn't believe. I mean, in the past, if someone at immigration did a mistake, I was able to send an email to immigration, and they were answering immediately because they did a mistake, but not anymore. So you have no idea how mad I have been, because how come if they do a mistake, they are supposed to give you the answer immediately because it's their mistake, but they don't do, Pepito. And I have clients, and I know that they cannot understand this, but this is what is happening. And for me, Pepito, to keep a file open for a long time and fight against immigration, it means only stress. But it is what it is, and we have to fight. We have to push. If you don't push, you don't get any answer from immigration.
Okay, here's another one that's pretty much incredible. If something is missing from residency application, I can't believe we're sitting here talking about this, but even 100 colones, that's like 20 cents US, okay, stamp, the missing stamp must be submitted, and the processing time is still 8 months to a year. So if I have like this 20-cent stamp missing in my file, are you telling me like they're gonna like stop my process again?
Yeah, exactly. Imagine how stupid this behavior is. You're missing 100 colones stamp, and they have someone inside immigration has to make a resolution, sign the resolution, pass the resolution to someone to notify me that I am missing 100 colones stamp. And then I will add the 100 colones stamp, and again, the date, the processing date will be starting all over again. And we have been insisting to immigration, if something is missing, something that is not important, please grant the residency, approve the residency, and in the same resolution, you can put, okay, before you get your residency card, you have to pay 100 colones stamp, you have to add 2 passport pictures, and that's it. It will be less complicated, but they are complicating the whole system, Pepito, the whole system, even for them.
You said something that's sort of like does a buzz in my ear. I want to ask you, maybe because I'm French, I didn't hear you right, but did you say something to the effect that if there's a mistake like that, then they stop the file, and then I submit my 20-cent stamp? Are you telling me that my file is going to go back to the bottom of the pile?
Yes, 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 Pepito, yes. So imagine how, I mean, there is no word to explain this. And it means more work for them because they have to do a resolution. It means money, time. Uh, Someone has to sign the resolution. They have to notify the resolution to me. I have to receive the resolution. I will make a letter adding the 100 colones stamp. Then processing time will start like all over again.
That's pretty much incredible.
It's
Okay,
incredible.
but
I mean, it's
if we
incredible.
have all our file complete and we have all our papers submitted perfectly, what could
Yes,
we expect?
processing time may be shorter. Imagine that in 2023, Pepito, investors, because immigration knows the big delay that they have with investors, they made a new disposition. If we submit an investor residency file complete, they will give you the answer in 4 months. And it is happening. So the all applications back from 2020, 2021 are still waiting. So that's why you hear stories in Facebook, in Instagram, but why my neighbor got the approval in 4 months and I have been waiting for 2 years? Because this is immigration, Pepito. And uh, I belong to a group of immigration lawyers and we are fighting, we are fighting, we are trying to help immigration to find a way to give answers sooner, but it's so difficult to get a meeting to talk to someone. It's difficult. It's really difficult. For me, in 35 years, Pepito, this is the worst time for immigration. They are collapsing. So we need help from the government because the residency will be approved, but people, foreigners, they have to be really patient.
Let me ask you a question. I think you made a comment on that before, but does Marcela, in your opinion, really, does the government of Costa Rica, does Costa Rica want immigrants, or is this done to sort of like discourage people from
Of
coming in
course,
here?
Pepito, that's why they approve a new law to attract investors, retirees, and renters to Costa Rica.
Yeah, but Marcela, they're making these laws to attract people, but they're putting so much red tape and everything that
But
it just
it's not the government, it's immigration. So it's for me, the government doesn't know what immigration is doing. And we have been trying to talk to different people at the government to let them know what is happening, but they have so much to do. But Pepito, the government, they want new investors in Costa Rica. That's why they are giving tax benefits. They reduce the amount of the investment from $200,000 to $250,000
Mhm.
because and this law will be in application only 5 years, but they don't know that immigration is not able to analyze thousands of files if they have just 14 employees to check on the files.
Here's a good question. Just came to me privately. Somebody asked me a question here. Actually, what will it take for the government to help immigration expand? Has it been addressed?
Uh, we have been talking to different people at the government as a group, but we have not received any answer because immigration, they cannot hire more people because according to the budget, they cannot hire more people. So that has been the situation at immigration for so many years. But after 2020 is worse because now people, foreigners, they know the importance of having the residency in Costa Rica, and everybody wants residence in Costa Rica, Pepito. Every owner of property, they know that they need to have the residency because if we have another pandemic, the frontiers will be closed again, and only people with residency and local people will be allowed to enter. So now everybody knows the importance of having the residency, especially if they own properties in Costa Rica, or if they want to have a plan B, because you never know what could happen. And if you have residency in Costa Rica, you will be allowed to enter no matter what.
Okay, I'm going to change the name of the show. It's going to be Immigration in Costa Rica, believe it or not. There's the next point here. Authentication. Immigration no longer accept documents issued outside Costa Rica where a notary is involved, whereas they used to accept them before.
Imagine, Pepito, how can I explain a client that obtained documents in Canada and they paid a lot of money to do the authentication process, and I checked the documents were right, and
Yep.
now immigration is not accepting the documents anymore because a notary is involved in the authentication process. So they are not accepting documents where a notary is involved. I have talked to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs about the situation, and they told me that documents are perfectly authenticated, but they cannot tell immigration what to do. So I have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who is the highest entity. Immigration is lower, but they cannot tell immigration what to do. So now we are fighting, and I have to tell my clients, okay, I can fight, but I don't know what will be the answer. So it's better that you get new documents, and they are spending more money in getting documents, and it means also more time, Pepito. So maybe they consider me, I am not a good immigration lawyer, but I am. So, but it's immigration that is changing the criteria very often.
So isn't immigration departments are like responsible? Like if I go there, I submit my file, or my immigration attorney goes there and submit my file. Isn't immigration supposed to do like sort of when they get the papers and accept the papers, say gracias, okay? And shouldn't they be like at least reviewing them firstly and saying, well, there's this piece missing or this piece missing, by the way, and why don't you go and do that instead of having your file sit there for 3 years?
They are supposed to do that. Actually, according to the law, they have to give you an answer. If the file is complete, they have to give you an answer in 3 months. But they cannot give you an answer in 3 months, Pepito, because they have thousands of applications. So, and they are supposed to check the file. Once they have a technician has the file, they are supposed to check the file only one time. And if something is missing, they have one opportunity to request pending documents. Only one time. But they don't do that. They check, okay, there is 100 colones stamp missing. Okay, we complete. Then, okay, second resolution. The authentication process in Canada is not the right one. You have to submit birth certificate and RCMP. Second resolution. So it means a delay on the process, and it means the process will be extended. We normally it is happening that they check the file and they have one opportunity to review everything.
Okay.
It's normally happening in 80% of the cases. 20%, they keep asking for more and more documents. So the process is extended.
Without a Costa Rica consulate and apostille, the individual should bring the document without authentication and make a sworn statement. But now Costa Rica requires authentication through a third country?
Another change of criteria. Pepito,
What does that mean, Marcela? What does that mean, a third country?
Okay, let me explain.
Yeah.
I had many Iranian clients, and in the past they were getting the birth certificate, a photocopy, authenticated, a photocopy of the birth certificate, because Iran doesn't have Apostille and Iran, we don't have diplomatic relations with Iran, so there is no Costa Rican consulate. So I used to do the residency process with a photocopy of the birth certificate, and that's it. And the foreigner was doing a sworn statement with me, and it was accepted in the past. Now immigration is requesting the foreigner, like an Iranian, to do the authentication process through a third country. So it means he has to get the birth certificate in Iran. He has to go to the Mexican consulate in Iran to authenticate the document, then to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Iran. Then the document has to go to Mexico, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Mexico, and then to the Costa Rican consulate in Mexico, and then to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Costa Rica.
Okay,
So
I'm lost.
Money, and time. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And in the past, the law established the process through a third country. Not now, but immigration is asking for this process. So how can I fight? If I fight, the process will be extended 2 years. So I have to complete the file the way they want.
It's troubling. No one is available at immigration to discuss a specific case. Hello, immigration, or to request help when they make a mistake.
No, in the past, like I'm telling you, maybe before pandemic, 2019, if I had a problem, I used to send an email to the chief of the residency department, and I have this file, and it has been in process for a long time, and they used to help me. Or I have this case where immigration is asking something that is inside the file, and they used to help me. Or I was going personally to immigration, but not anymore. So I send an email to people inside immigration. This is not the way you should process your file. So what is the way? If I cannot get help from the chief of the residency department, who is going to help me? And the immigration director, she sends the emails to the residency department. And I know they have a lot of work, Pepito. So it is a chaos.
Is one of the issues because the immigration department is like, let's give them a benefit of the doubt. Do they have enough staff? I mean, is that the issue?
They don't have enough staff. So they do what they can do.
So how many files do you guesstimate or have an idea they may have, like right now on this pile? And how many people would be?
I have been asking the question, Pepito, and I guess they don't have the idea. They don't have any idea. In 2019, they had that's what I heard, 7,000 files pending of resolution without refugees, okay? I'm talking about regular residency applications, okay? Refugee department is another serious situation, okay? But I cannot get the answer from anybody at immigration of how many cases pending of resolution they have.
So how many employees in the office, more or less?
Less than 15 employees to check.
Less than 15 for like 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, yes, that's the number I know. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you remember, Pepito, in 2020, I did a video myself asking immigration to reopen immigration because they were the only institution that kept the doors closed for a long time. And I was begging immigration, please reopen immigration because you will collapse. And that's what is happening. They are collapsing. It's a chaotic situation. It's good for Costa Rica because we still have so many foreigners interested in applying for residency. And even now, Pepito, I have so many clients, but I have to be totally honest. You have to be patient to get the residency. You will get it if you don't have any criminal background. You will get the residency because it's my duty to check on the file that everything is complete. But also, immigration changed the criteria. So, I mean, how can I explain a foreigner that they changed the rules?
Mhm.
So
So we
it's
have here in 2023, they made a decision to review new investor applications that were submitted with all the documents, necessary documents quickly, but the old applications were put aside.
yes, exactly. That's what I was explaining before. I mean, they took the decision because they knew the huge problem that they have with investors. They took the decision to give a quick answer to applications that were submitted complete in 2023. So that's why you hear people complaining, why my neighbor got the approval and I have been waiting for 2 years, because this is immigration. These are the type of decisions that they do, that they take. But the government, Pepito, again, Costa Rican government wants investors in Costa Rica. They want foreigners to come to Costa Rica, but they don't know what is happening inside immigration. They need to help immigration. Otherwise, it's like they are working in different. It's
Yeah.
like if they are working in different countries.
So it's good to know. Any updates on the tax incentives for residency being implemented?
Of course, they are being implemented already. So if you get the residency,
Yay!
has
There's one good news.
completely sure. So if you get the residency, has an investor, has a retiree, has a renter, you can get the tax benefits. You can bring two vehicles, appliances for the house. If you do a business activity, you can bring whatever you need for the business activity, and you get 20% discount on transfer fees if you buy a property in Costa Rica. And 20% discount on transfer fees is a lot of money. But you can apply once you have the residency card in your hands.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Perfect. The average time to notify resolution is 8 months. So you may have a resolution dated January 2023, but you received the resolution in September 2023.
What can I say, Pepito? That's what is happening. Okay. A resolution means the document from immigration granting the residency, or could be a document from immigration denying the residency, or it could be immigration asking for additional documents. So they do the resolution, they sign the resolution, but they pass the resolution to someone in another department to notify the resolution to me. So I get the resolution like 7 or 8 months after it was signed. Imagine. So my client, when they see the resolution, why the resolution is dated January 2023 and you just informed me in September 2023, because I just got it 7 months later, because it's because of the lack of people. They don't have to get all the work done.
So we have a question here from someone saying, what is the process of dissolution of LLC to be eligible for residency? Not paying taxes dissolves LLC, but how do you ensure you maintain legal title?
Okay, I don't understand the question, but if a LLC was dissolved because they didn't pay the taxes, you could not anymore. I guess you cannot reactivate the corporation anymore. So you need to do residency with another Costa Rican corporation.
So for somebody who's watching the show, don't know what LLC is.
It's a limited liability corporation.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. So let's go back to some of our points here. Marcela, we're pretty much almost done. So if you live half of the year in Costa Rica, it's better to apply for residency. You'll pay the fees, legal expenses only once, around $2,000, and you'll have a plan B.
Yes, that's what I was explaining before, Pepito. After the pandemic, every owner of property, they know the importance of having the residency, because they wanted to be here during the pandemic at their houses in Costa Rica, and they were not allowed to enter. So now they know that if they own a property, it's better to have the residency. And if you are coming like 6 months per year to Costa Rica, it means that you like Costa Rica. You are living half a year in Costa Rica, so it's better to have the residency. It's gonna cost you $400 in expenses, between $1,500 in legal fees, and you pay only one time and you get the residency. And to keep the residency, you need to be in Costa Rica only 1 day per year. That's it. And if you are not in Costa Rica, you don't pay Caja. Caja is Costa Rican medical system, and once you get residency, it is mandatory to register with the government medical system. But you pay only if you are in Costa Rica. So it's not a lot of money, and you have a good plan B. If you want to run away from US, if you want to run away from Israel, you know that if you have the residency, you will be allowed to enter Costa Rica no matter what is happening. Okay?
Thank you. Under the pensionado application, the Social Security benefit letter does not state for lifetime. Do we need a letter from the American consulate stating the benefit is for a lifetime?
Okay.
That's a very good question.
Yes, according to the law, the pension letter must indicate that the pension is lifetime. Recently, the American consulate in Costa Rica, they decided not to run the pension letters anymore, because they were issuing the pension letter to Americans, and this pension letter done by the American consulate was accepted by immigration, but not anymore because they are not granting the letters. So now we are talking to immigration to see what is going to happen, because some of the letters from Social Security, disability letters, veterans, they don't indicate that the pension is lifetime. But immigration knows that Social Security or Service Canada, these pensions are lifetime. So if they send a letter to the American consulate, to the Canadian consulate, to request which pensions are lifetime, they have the answer from the American consulate and the Canadian consulate, and they could approve the residencies for retirees without the letter indicating that the pension is lifetime, because some immigration is requesting what is impossible sometimes. So I already sent an email to immigration to see what is going to happen with these letters, because the American consulate is not granting the letters anymore.
Okay. So before we close, Marcela, we have a little message here on the bottom. We have a rotulu here mentioning that you have personally or yourself submitted about 100 complaints about issues related to your clients and some of the stuff we just talked about today to authorities.
Yes, Pepito, as I told you, because we cannot get answers from immigration, we cannot talk to anybody inside immigration, because they have a huge problem. The situation is chaotic. For the first time in 35 years, and I am denouncing immigration at the Defensoría de los Habitantes, which is ombudsman. So this is the first time I do that. I'm doing this additional process for free for my clients, because I am number one interested in getting the approval for my clients. So I hope to get a good result, because that's what I can do. I mean, that's what I can do. I need to push. I need to see what strategy I can do for my clients, and that's what I'm doing for the first time.
Marcela, thank you very much for giving us this update, although a little bit, some of those things hard to, I guess, imagine and accept and understand, but at least what I appreciate anyway, I know you've done immigration work for me and Carolyn, and we've always appreciated your honesty and everything. And I get it. This is what you're trying to do when we're doing these shows. We're not there to butter things up. We want to tell things to people as we see them and as how you see them with your expertise. I want to thank you for that. Before we close, is there anything that maybe we forgot that you would want to add?
Pepito, what I tell my clients now, because of the situation, is that they will get residency. They will get residency, but they have to be patient. And if they learn to be patient in Costa Rica, Pepito, they will be happy and they will live longer. That's why we have the blue sun here in Nicoya. So because we have to learn to be patient. It's Costa Rican time. For me, it's horrible because when a process is taking a long time, it means time consuming for me, my employees. I have to do the follow up. I will have to charge $5,000 per residency because it's taking forever, but I don't. So I'm honest with the client. You will get residency. You
So
have
Marcela, anyone wants to
patience.
contact you, they could go via your website, or even this is your personal email.
Yes, that's my company's email. Yes,
Okay,
and
Marcela,
for any
Gurdian.
client that is listening to me, any foreigner, just be sure that you will get the residency because I
Perfect.
will never do a residency if I am not 100% sure that they will get it. But I mean, we are facing a difficult situation with immigration.
And you
Thank
have a
you,
nice
Rob.
comment
Thank
here.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Keep up the good work for clients, says Rod Marshall. I think
Thank
we'll
you,
end it
Rob.
on that. Gracias,
Thank you. I do
Marcela.
my best.
Ciao, hasta luego.
Thank